I'm Driti, you're watching TimesXP and welcome to the top US news. Big news is coming from the United States and it's making headlines every single where. US President Donald Trump has announced a plan to cut $545 million from the FBI's budget. Well, this is part of his bigger plan to save $163 billion by cutting spending on non-military programs. But here's the interesting part. Even somebody who is close to Trump, FBI Director Kash Patel, is not happy with this decision. Kash Patel, who is of Indian origin and became the FBI Director in February 2025, told lawmakers that the FBI needs more money, not less. He warned that these budget cuts could actually make it harder for the FBI to fight violent crimes across the country. Mahendra Patel, a 57-year-old Indian origin engineer living in Georgia, has been making headlines after a confusing and dramatic situation at a Walmart store. On March 18, Patel went shopping at a Walmart in Georgia. Inside the store, he approached a 26-year-old woman named Caroline Miller, who was riding a motor-sized cart with her two small children. Patel explained that he had asked Miller for help finding a particular medicine for his mother. However, what happened next turned his life upside down. Patel was accused of trying to kidnap Miller's 2-year-old son. Police said that Patel tried to grab the child, but after that Patel strongly denied all the accusations. He said that he only reached out to prevent the child from falling off the cart. Despite his explanation, Patel was arrested and taken to Cobb County Jail, where he ended up spending 45 days behind the bars, and that too without being allowed to post bond. Patel's legal team later presented surveillance video from Walmart as an evidence. Even though part of the video was blurry, Patel's lawyer argued that it was clearly visible that Patel did not use force or did not attempt to run away after the incident. This evidence convinced Cobb County Superior Court Judge A. Gregory Poole to approve Patel's release on a $10,000 bond. Imagine you're at the airport ready to board a flight, but then you realize you don't have the real ID. What happens? Well, from May 7, 2025, if you're flying inside the US, you will need something called Real ID to get through security. This rule has been around for years, but it wasn't being used. Now, under new rules that are put in place during Donald Trump's time, it will finally be enforced. The question is first, what exactly is Real ID? Let me help you. It's a type of driver's license or state ID that has a small star, gold, black or other color, on the top right corner. Now this star means the ID meets the government's new security standards. You'll need it when you fly within the US, but kids under 18 years of age won't need one. The Transportation Security Administration has warned that IDs without the Real ID star won't be accepted at the airport checkpoints. But yes, don't panic. If you don't have Real ID, there are other documents that you can show. You can use the US passport, a passport card, global entry card, a US military ID, a permanent residency card, a tribal or Native American card, a federal employee ID, a foreign passport, a Canadian driver license, a transportation worker ID, an employment authorization card, a merchant marine ID, or a veteran health ID. Well, that's a lot. However, temporary driver's license will not work. But here's a tricky part. Not everybody is ready for this particular change. TSA says that about 81% of travelers already have valid IDs at the airport. But a CBS News report found out that 17 states, in those particular states, fewer than 50% of people have Real ID. In 30 states, fewer than 70% of people are ready. And that's a lot of people who might show up at the airports without the Real ID, which could cause big lines and delays. So, if you show up at the airport without any acceptable ID, TSA says that you can still try to fly, but you'll have to go through extra steps. You'll need to give your name, address and other details to help prove that who exactly you are. TSA may check you more closely and put you in a very special line. If you can't confirm your identity, you won't be allowed to fly. A heartbreaking tragedy has shocked people on both sides of the United States-Mexico border. An Indian family of four was trying to enter the US illegally by boat near San Diego, California. But sadly, things went horribly wrong. Their boat flipped over into the water. A 14-year-old Indian boy was confirmed dead, and his 10-year-old sister is still missing. She is now believed to be dead as well. The parents were rescued, but the father is now in coma in the hospital. The mother is also hospitalized, and she is still recovering. Well, this terrible event happened on May 5th, and by May 7th, news came out that the boy had passed away. Also, the family was not alone on the boat. They were among a group with migrants from India and Mexico who were trying to cross into the US without any document. In total, 3 people died in the boat disaster. This is the shocking story of a man who lived in a quiet town in Virginia, but behind closed doors, he was secretly helping one of the world's deadliest terror groups, ISIS. You know what makes this story even more surprising is that this particular man was not some stranger who was in a faraway land. He was an Indian origin American citizen, somebody who grew up in the US and became part of the community. But his choices led him down a very dark and dangerous path. And now he is being handed a massive prison sentence. Let's break down the full story and understand what exactly happened here. The man at the center of this case is Mohammad Azharuddin Chibba, a 35-year-old man from Virginia who was born in India, and later on he moved to the United States when he was just 4 years of age. Chibba was convicted of sending at least $185,000 to ISIS, the terrorist group that became infamous for its violence, brutal killings, and global recruitment campaign between 2014 and 2018. While Chibba's lawyers painted him as a lonely and lost man who was looking for meaning and connection, the US government saw him as a key player, someone who acted as a middleman, gathering money from people inside the US and making sure to reach ISIS fighters and women in Syria. The FBI first started watching Chibba back in 2008, but closed the investigation in 2018, thinking that he was no longer a threat. However, the case was reopened in 2019 after agents saw social media posts where Chibba expressed support for ISIS. When the FBI raided his home in Fairfax, Virginia, they found a treasure trove of ISIS propaganda and materials. The agent even sat Chibba down and gave him a clear warning: stop sending money or face legal consequences. But instead of stopping, Chibba went even deeper. He continued sending funds, created the fake phone numbers and opened Telegram accounts, and even traveled hundreds of miles across the US to personally collect cash from other ISIS supporters. He worked closely with women known as Dujana, who made sure that the money reached its destination. In court, Chibba's lawyer argued that he had been manipulated and he was often responding to people that he believed were ISIS members who actually were undercover FBI agents. They claimed that some of the money was meant for humanitarian aid, but the evidence against him was overwhelming. Assistant US Attorney Anthony Eminoff told the court that Chibba had been given a golden opportunity to quit after the FBI's warning, but instead he laughed it off and continued. At his sentencing, things took an unexpected turn, by the way. Instead of showing regret or asking for forgiveness, Chibba used his time to attack the US government, calling it evil, oppressive, hypocritical, and unjust. He also defended his wife, who is already sentenced to 20 years in prison for leading an all-female ISIS battalion. Raja Krishnamurthy, a very well-known Indian origin politician, has announced that he is running for Illinois' open Senate seat. He said that during his career, he has always stood up to bullies, and now he wants to do the same against Donald Trump. Well, the Senate race is open because Senator Dick Durbin, a Democrat, is retiring now. In an interview, Krishnamurthy explained that I have spent my career standing up to bullies in Congress. Now, we need to stand up to Donald Trump, who is stopping people from reaching their full potential. He added that one of the most important goals is to make sure that the government works for the people again, not against them. For him, fighting against Trump is one of the top issues. Krishnamurthy also mentioned that whosoever takes over the Senate seat must continue Senate Durbin's strong legacy of representing everyone in Illinois. He believes that he has the right qualities to represent the state, whether it's downstate, the suburb, or the city. As somebody who has lived in different parts of Illinois, he feels ready for this challenge. But who exactly is Krishnamurthy personally? Let's get to know him. Raja Krishnamurthy is a Democrat who has always been a very strong critic of Donald Trump. He has a long history of fighting for what he believes in. He was heavily involved in Trump's first impeachment in 2019. In fact, he was so opposed to Trump's actions that he even attended Trump's inauguration in 2017 to make a statement. He wanted Trump to see that he would be opposed right from the start if he pursued harmful policies. Tensions between India and Pakistan are boiling once again, and here's the big headline that has caught the world's attention. Even a former US Air Force pilot says that his money is on India. So the question is, why is India now miles ahead when it's come to air power, and why Pakistan should be worried? Let's break it down in simple words. This week, India carried out a powerful and precise military operation called Operation Sindoor. The Indian Armed Forces struck terror camps connected to Jaish-e-Mohammed and Lashkar-e-Taiba at 9 different locations across Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. The world took notice, and among those reacting was Dale Stark, a retired US Air Force pilot. Stark posted on X saying that I have flown with both Indian and Pakistani fighter pilots in my career. If this fight continues, my money is on India. Well, that's a huge statement coming from somebody who has seen both sides up very close. So, why is India ahead in air power? The biggest reason is India's Rafale fighter jets purchased from France. These jets are classified as 4.5 generation fighters, making them one of the most advanced aircrafts in the world. They are just one step below the ultra-modern 5th generation stealth jets, but they pack tremendous power. The Rafale comes equipped with Meteor beyond visual range missiles that can hit target from far away, advanced electronic warfare system that can actually jam enemies' radar, and top-notch radar technology that gives Indian pilots a clear view of the battlefield. On the top of that, the Rafales have stealth features that make it very difficult for enemies to lock onto them. You know what really makes them apart is their ability to carry Scalp cruise missiles and hammer prestigious bombs, the same one that is used in Operation Sindoor to carry out pinpoint strikes. On the other hand, Pakistan mainly depends on 2 jets, the F-16s from the United States and JF-17 Thunders developed in China. But both of these have major limitations. While the F-16s have a good reputation, they are old and they come with limitations. Under agreements with the United States, Pakistan is only allowed to use them for defense and counter-terrorism, not for attacking India. On the top of that, Pakistan faces constant headaches in maintaining its F-16 fleet, partly due to financial struggles and partly because the US keeps a close watch on how these jets are actually used. As of the JF-17 Thunder, while it's kind of affordable and versatile, it is a lightweight single-engine jet that simply don't compare to the Rafale when it comes to range, payload and surviving in dangerous airspace. Even though the latest JF-17 Block 3 version with upgraded radar falls short against India's superior aircraft. So here the bottom line is, while Pakistan is struck with aging jet, restricted operation and limited options, India's air forces are moving ahead with cutting-edge technology and deadly precision. That's why even international military experts like Dale Stark are confidently betting on India. Operation Sindoor wasn't just a message to terrorists, it was a powerful statement to the world. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more updates.